Let's go.
Dr. Rosie Milligan, one of the most sought-after speakers on the circuit today. Her live internet talk show, Express Yourself, is the most provocative, thought-provoking, and talked-about radio show on the internet. There's no holds barred, and Dr. Milligan puts the B in bold. She brings it every Tuesday live at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Dr. Rosie has been proclaimed the most provocative female writer of the century. Her books include Satisfying the Black Man and Black Woman Sexually Made Simple, Why Black Men Choose White Women, and the book Nigga Please. These books have raised eyebrows across the country. She has authored 21 books and published 350 titles for authors nationwide. Check Dr. Rosie out at drrosie.com for her books, articles, and archives of her internet talk show. Sit at the feet of wisdom. Dr. Milligan is indeed a timekeeper and scorekeeper. She is the clock, calendar, and almanac for Black America. You need to hear her.
Top of the morning in sunny California, folks. It's sunny out here. It's hot. Well, you listen to the Express Yourself Hour. I am your host, Dr. Rosie Milligan, coming to you live, folk, with nothing but straight talk, 'cause that's how we do it around here.
Recording
nothing
in progress.
But straight talk. Yes, nothing but straight talk this morning with Express Yourself Hour. As I said, I am your host. My co-host, one of my co-hosts is she's my new co-host. She's also my guest today. That's Dr. Andrea Anthony, and you guys will be hearing a lot from her. Hey, Dr. Andre, my new co-host coming on doing her own show for today. We have a great show for you today, and, well, what can I say? All I can say, it is so timely, folks. We're talking about today. We're talking about something many families refuse to talk about until it's too late. They don't want to talk about this topic until it's too late. You know, sexual abuse doesn't always come from around the corner, around the bend. Most of the time it's close to our heart. Someone that we love, someone our children know. But the long-lasting scars that it has on the lives of people, girls and boys, because most people thought it was just girls, but we're finding out now how many young men are being exposed to the same thing. And most people still don't think about being careful about their boys. They still think it doesn't happen. I don't know why they're just sleeping in the dark. So my co-host and my guest today, she is an author. She's an advocate for children's safety. She's a national recognized educator, resilient coach for over 30 years experience. And she created the Guarded Wing Ambassador. She goes across this country equipping families to protect the most precious investment that we have, and that's our children. I just love her work so much because she's looking for someone in every family to be that ambassador. We need an ambassador in every family to watch out for the family. You know who that predator is. Been there 10 years, but you don't want to expose it until it hits your child. So today, you guys, I want you to put your seatbelts on. I want you to get your pens and your paper, and I want you to let's look at something that we've been afraid to talk about, afraid to say anything about, but I'm telling you, it's time. Because these girls and boys, women and men who has been sexually abused, these are the one who ends up many times marrying your daughter or your son. Those scars run deeply, and sometimes, without help, they run forever. Good morning, Dr. Andre. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. Dr. Rosie, I just love you. Thank you so much for this opportunity, this platform, to basically share with the world that this month, April, is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, but it's also Childhood Sexual Abuse Awareness Month. And so often the the month gets overshadowed by sexual assault on men, on women, on campuses, and our children, in my opinion, are being left out of spreading the word and helping people become aware of this pandemic. I call it a pandemic that's been sweeping across our country since the beginning of time. And so I want everyone to know that April is the month that we do our best to really help people become aware of how important this is to protect our children. And you spoke earlier about the Guarded Wings Promise, which is a nonprofit. And we focus on the preventative side. Now, we're not discounting survivors or anything like that, because this is something that's near and dear to me, because I am also a survivor. And so my assignment for the rest of my life is to equip and educate families and communities about safeguarding our children. And so it's very, very, very important that we're having this conversation today.
I think the thing that I appreciate so much about you, Dr. Andre, because I have attended many of your workshops and seminars. I remember one that we attended where the wife, and she was the wife of a minister, and she had been sexually molested. But the strangest thing about it, he had also been.
Yeah,
You see?
absolutely.
So neither one of them knew that before they got married. And I remember her telling the story that the person who sexually molested her was someone who was a drinker, not to say drunk, but she said every time she smelled the scent of alcohol, how it would just set her off, you know. But I thought that was so beautiful. They both publicly talked about that experience and how it had impacted our life. So it's scars. Some people never get over the scars. Someone was speaking to me yesterday and told me that they didn't tell their parents about, I think it was the uncle who tried to sexually molest her. She couldn't talk about it. She was 39 years old. She said she had just kind of blocked it out till one day something came up about it. So this topic is not one that should be discussed in April, Sexual Awareness Month.
Right.
Folks, this need to be talked about every day. Parents need to know. You need to talk to your children about safeguard. What part of your body no one is supposed to touch. I don't know why it is sad how much is going on. Cousins, uncles, aunts, fathers, mothers, and people don't know that there are mothers who molested their children also.
Yes.
Some people say, how can a woman molest? Yeah, come on. Get your head out of the sand. It's going down. It's up to all of us to protect our children. These are scars that impact our relationship, to bond with other people, to have trust. It does so much. So back to you, Dr. Andre. I'm just glad that you're here. And the other thing I like so much about you, I have to always say it. I know you get tired of me talking about your mom. I love that woman because how she doesn't try to clip your wings for telling your truth.
Yeah.
And most people don't do that. Oh, you don't tell, you shaming me. I think she joined the movement like, if it heals somebody, if it helps somebody, it can't hurt me. My child is okay. I love that woman. Tell her, okay?
I will. She's actually has joined us today.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that I do wanted to let those of you that have joined us on this live Zoom radio talk show, that we want you to be interactive with us. And, you know, if you want to make a comment, if you don't want to say it publicly, you want to type it in the chat, please type it in the chat because we're looking at the chat. And if you have a question, type your question in and we will basically do our best to answer that for you today. But my mom is here. I don't know if she wants to become unmuted. and say something. You acknowledged her publicly. Maybe she want to say something. I don't want to keep going and without giving her that opportunity.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good.
You know I love you, don't you?
I do. I would just like to say that I am so proud of my daughter. And for those parents out there, I did not know until my daughter was 30 years old that the things that she went through.
Turn your TV down, Mom.
Huh?
Turn your TV down.
Can be signs of a life-threatening condition.
Or mute it.
Yeah, it's down.
Okay.
And it still hurts that my child had to go through it. And I admire her for what she's doing. And for mothers, do not be silent. If you see someone or you know someone that's doing something that they should not do, you need to tell it. And with my daughter starting this, I'll be sitting watching now. And it's something. Thank you for this few minutes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
And I do want to, just piggyback on what she said. I was, 30, early 30s when we had the conversation. So it was a lot that I did share with her. And like I say often, I didn't get an opportunity to share everything because it was overwhelming for both of us at the time. So she learns things as we go and as I speak, but she has definitely stepped up to the plate and has supported me anytime I speak. She's there and she's being a supporter. So I just thank God for her strength and for being an example for other mothers who have to listen to their child come to them at a later age to give them this information. So I thank her for being an example. And I really would like to share some statistics with our listeners. So 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys will experience being sexually abused before their 18th birthday.
1 in 4?
1 in 4 girls and 1 in 13 boys will experience sexual abuse before their 18th birthday. This is based on research from different sources. Anybody that Google it and put it in a Google search, these numbers will come up all over the place. 93% of perpetrators of child sexual abuse is someone that the child knows. So it's not stranger danger. When I was a little girl growing up, that's all you heard. Stranger danger, stranger danger. They had campaigns about that. And even at that time, that was not accurate information to disseminate out into the world because it's not strangers. It's someone, 93% of perpetrators is someone that the child knows.
That's frightening. That is scary.
Yep. Someone in the home could be a parent, a mother or a father, an older sibling, cousins, neighbors, coaches, teachers. Every day on the news, we are hearing about some inappropriate behavior towards a young person, whether it be in schools, in day camps, in summer camps. So this is something that really needs to be talked about, like you said, every day. and families need to be educated. And so with saying that, that's how this book that I wrote came about. And it's basically a parent's guide. So this is a copy of the book right here. This beautiful little angel on the cover is my daughter when she was 3 years old. She's now 27 years old. And this is a parent guide. So basically, one way that I know that we can prevent this from ever happening to a child is to start before the child's even born. So, we go to I'm a parent. I know you're a parent. We have parents that's with us today. And we go to the doctor. They let us know, hey, you're expecting, you're pregnant. So what is some of the things that parents do? We start thinking, oh, what we going to do? Oh, we got to think about a car seat. Oh, we got to get the room together. Oh, the baby's going to need this. The baby's going to need that. They'll give you a little packet, because I got a little packet, that has information in it. But there's nothing in those packets that talk about protecting children from sexual predators. They tell you how to find the right car seat, what type of formulas to get. They'll give you websites. But in this day and time, the conversations are leaning more towards what can we do to help families start preparing to safeguard their children. And it begins before birth. So I broke my book down into the trimesters. So we go through 3 trimesters. And so in the first trimester in the book, I encourage parents to do different things. The most important one that I do is I encourage them to start talking about it. Because you said earlier that predators are right in our home. Yeah. They're in our families. We've protected them. Families have kept silent generation after generation. And so we know who's been inappropriate. And so we need to start talking about that publicly to let individuals know that we're going to protect our children. And that's what I did. I started talking about it when I found out 28 years ago that I was going to be a mother. I started having open conversations with my family and talking about that. So the book focuses on preparing families. And the subtitle is A Parent's Step-by-Step Guide to Prevent Childhood Sexual Abuse from Birth to 5. The journey begins before birth.
Dr. Andre, I think that book, even if you have to excerpt from it, make it a pamphlet or whatever, I think that ought to be a push to be in every OBGYN office, that their parent, those women who come in there pregnant, can begin, just like what you're talking about, to start thinking about, because they have to start thinking about, I'm going back to work, I'm going to have someone to babysit this child. So it's time for them to start thinking right now, who is that person? And what do I need to look for in the person that I'm going to deliver my child into the hands of to take care of that child while I go to work?
Yes, and inside the book, I give them examples of questions that they can ask when you're choosing someone to care for your child, when you're considering putting your child in the daycare or preschool. I give questions that you can ask when you are interviewing to put your child, because they interview us. They want to know about us and about the child. And so if any facility does not want you to interview them, that's not the right place for you to put your child.
And the other thing, too, is that, like we said, it's close. It's not out in the street. It's not around the corner. It's not in the dark alley that your child is being sexual abused or attacked. And for those who have the blinders on, there have been so many who have gone to some of these Christian camps, who have gone to these conventions and different hotels with church affiliation, have come out and talked about how they have been sexually abused from some of the members, from the ministers, from some of their roommates on down. And
Yes.
then they didn't know how to tell. I think the key thing is to make it comfortable for them to talk about it. So you need to talk about it and make them feel comfortable. Let them know that if someone say, if you tell, I'm going to kill your mom. We need to let them know.
Right.
So they'll know what to know, because they don't know what to tell you. They may think you'll be angry if you tell them that a particular person, special, Dr. Andre, someone that you like, because one person said to me, I didn't want to tell my mom because, the whole family, they liked him so much.
Mm-hmm.
Duh, that's what the
Yeah.
child said. I didn't want to tell my mom because they all loved him. It was the stepfather. Everybody loved him. He bought him everything. He was so I didn't want to tell. Well,
That, what you just said, that last part, is considered grooming. So this man groomed the entire family by buying gifts, by being nice, for being that go-to person. And that's what predators do. They groom first. And grooming just doesn't happen in a day. It happens over time. So the person becomes familiar with the family, becomes familiar with the dysfunction that's going on in the family, takes mental notes of how the child is treated and what's done around the child. So that whole grooming process is what they do. And that's how this person becomes likable and lovable. And so then it will be this entire family against that one child or multiple children. Because predators just don't abuse one child. They have multiple victims. And so that's considered grooming. And that's a very, very important piece that parents and communities need to understand, because that's what they do. But
and actually, they go through the family because everybody's silent. And then they get up, they in their 20s, and one sister decide to break the silence and
Mhm.
start talking about Uncle Bill or the stepfather, the father who had molested her. Then the other one look at that one, you too? Then you look around, it has happened to all the kids. How important it is when people start wanting to give your child gifts, inappropriate gift for your child. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so basically, no family, no parent should allow any adult to give a child a gift without their permission, because that's a part of the grooming process. And so that's really overstepping their bounds, their boundaries of giving a child gifts, continuously giving them gifts. They're not giving anyone else gifts. That's a sign. That's a red
Yeah.
flag right there. And that's what people need to understand is that you have to look for those red flags. And unfortunately, so many people are not even aware. They don't know what to look for. And so, Dr. Rosie, I'd like to take a moment and allow anyone to speak if they want to speak or have a point
Okay.
to make or ask a question.
Great. Great. All you have to do is open your mic and chime in if you have a comment. Kasada, did you want to speak?
Yes, I'll speak. I am a victim of multiple sexual assaults. The first one as early as 5 years old in Mississippi. The sexual assault was staged by my grandmother. My mother had left to come to California to find us a place to live. We was going to be moving up to California. So she left me with my grandmother, and for some reason, well, my grandmother, she did not like my dad. She hated my dad, and she would say all kind of nasty words and things to me all the time, calling me, excuse my French, little black bitches and all kind of stuff. And so when my mother left, coming to California, I was devastated, right? And I was wet in the bed. So this particular day, I went to bed, and my grandmother said, I have something for you. So I was nervous. I didn't know what she had for me. I knew it wasn't going to be good because she hated my guts. But anyway, she staged a sexual assault. She woke me up about 1:30 in the morning and placed me inside of a box on a porch with a black cat. This gentleman came from the train tracks, removed me out the box, took me back in the train tracks. It's a lot of bushes and trees, and he sexually assaulted me.
And how old were you at that time?
5. I was 5 years old, and took me back over there, put me in a box. I was, really traumatized. I was bleeding. I was holding my vagina, and my grandmother came back out maybe like about 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes later. Took me out the box, took my clothes off, washed the clothes, and never mentioned anything about, sexual assault or how I was feeling. She saw the blood and stuff on my clothing, and I lived with that for many years. And
How old were you when you told somebody?
I never told.
What,
I told my kids about 9 years ago.
what prompted you to tell your children 9 years ago?
I have a cousin. And can I finish the story and it'll lead to that? So we moved to California, and then our cousins followed. And when they moved with us, they lived with us, and he was sexually assaulting me and my sister, maybe over 50 sexual assaults for me and many for my sister. So
The same person?
no, this is a different person. This is my cousin. This
Oh,
this when we moved to California,
okay.
this is my cousin that was sexually assaulting me. And
Did you tell anybody then?
no, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am. And I was just, I don't know. I would get like when he was musty. My cousin, right? He didn't wear deodorant, and it would trigger me to smell must from under somebody's arm. And one day, me and my kids, we was at the Lamo Fashion Center, and I smelled this guy must, right? And I got triggered, and I started telling my kids what had happened. And actually, I should not have done that because my kids was very devastated when I let them know what my cousin had been doing to me for many. He had did that for many years, and also to my baby sister. Actually, she was even younger, sexually assaulting us. I was
Well,
up
let,
to I was
let
up
me
to 11, and she was 7.
let me ask you this question because I know we got other folks who want to
Okay.
get on.
Okay.
How has that impacted your relationship with men? Honestly,
It did. It really has impacted my relationship with men. I actually don't trust men. I have a trust issue with men.
Can I
And
just, can I just stop right now and
yeah.
just thank you
mhm.
so much. I applaud your courage for sharing this with us today openly. Um, that's commendable. And although you shared that with your children and they were devastated, that was 9 years ago. How are they now?
Oh, they fine.
Okay.
I mean, they fine. They happy that I had started writing my book about 7 years ago, and I just couldn't, it was just too traumatizing to write. And after my sister passed away in 2022, I just said, well, let me pray and ask God for mercy to write my book, my story. And I began to write my story, and actually my book is it's being printed now. I
Yeah.
am new author, and it's sexual assault. I can say it's really it's a very long term traumatizing thing. I have went to multiple therapy sections, and I get triggered easy. Very, very, very easy. It can be as simple as a man being flirtatious with me, and I get triggered.
And this show is really one of the main points is talking about the scars that men and women have to deal with. And this is a lifetime. Like, you never forget. It does not go away. You learn how to manage your life around it,
Yes.
but it's a lifetime scar. And I commend you for going to therapy. Let me ask you one more question.
Sure.
Is this cousin still alive?
He's still alive. He is still alive.
Is he aware that you have written a book and that your children know?
Well, I'm not, well, his wife is aware that I've written a book, and his wife is on TikTok, and I post different things on TikTok. Now, she does not, she doesn't comment on none of the things I post, but I know she's reading it. She's reading, the posts and stuff like that. But yes, he is, still alive. He's probably about 68, 69 or something like that.
How would you feel if you ever approach this person uh, for forgiveness? Let's see how, Dr. Andre,
Yes.
let's talk about how unforgiveness, how much does that impact our lives? And would that person really hope one day, I would want that person, especially still alive, to just at least say, I'm sorry, recognize the pain that you caused me? How does that fit into the scheme of things?
Well, I think one of the most important things that us as survivors have to understand, that first of all, the forgiveness is not for that person. The forgiveness is really for us. And we have to understand that what happened to us is not our fault, especially if we're children. We have to recognize that first. And there's multiple ways to address this. Me personally, I wrote a letter. Well, it's more than one person. So I've actually written them a letter to let them know how I felt, what they did, how it affected my life. And then at the end, I just said, I forgive you. Because the forgiveness is really for me to move on with my life and to let them know that, yeah, what you did, it broke me. You did it intentionally, but they no longer have the power when you release that from yourself. And that's something
Wow.
that, that they have to live with. And so, if because some people don't receive that information, they're still in denial, they'll lie. It's too many stories that I've heard where the perpetrator and family members turn against someone when they want to address it. So I would encourage anyone to just understand that the forgiveness is for you, for your healing. And you have to forgive. The Bible says that that's important for our lives to forgive. And so I really, again, want to thank you for sharing your story. I know has surely touched me and other people that's listening right now, and then others who will hear it along the line. So I applaud you and thank you so much, and congratulations on your book.
And you will see her. She's going to be showcasing you guys. It's going down. 18 days left. Black Writers on Tour at the Carson Community Event Center. That's Saturday, April 25th from 10 to 4. Her book is called, it's so beautiful. The cover has her when she's a little girl in the mirror and an adult looking at her. The title of the book is Facing Her.
Nice.
Facing Her. Absolutely. Give her a hand clap, Jacob. Facing Her. Woo woo.
Yeah, good job.
So she's going to be there.
I want to mention something really quick.
Make it quick now.
Yeah, okay. It's very important that we seek treatment. Like I said, I have a sister that was sexually assaulted too, and it rendered her into drugs and homosexuality. That's what I wanted.
It's so important for treatment, you guys, for anything, any type trauma. I'm going to say that any type trauma, don't think you can pray it away. I want to put that out there. Don't think you can pray it away. Go and get help so you can rebuild your life. Because when you don't rebuild your life, guess what? You destroy other folks' lives around you. Am I right, Dr. Andre? You destroy other people. Here you got people falling in love with you, and then turn out that you have all this baggage. And then men or women walk away thinking that there's something wrong with them when it's not. It's those hidden scars that you have buried. And let's talk about how do women feel, Dr. Andre, when they have to, women get married, been molested, raped over and over, but they are afraid to share that with their husband because they feel like he's going to think, well, what were you wearing? What were your dress short? You know how folks do. Where were you? What time of night were you? How come you wasn't home? I mean, so how does that play out? How do a woman really feel telling her man or husband that she's been raped? That's not comfortable. You think?
Well, no.
Talk about it. Somebody on here who have had the experience, jump in.
It's definitely not something that is comfortable to talk about.
But it's important, don't you think so?
Very important.
So when you start acting certain ways, that person can understand. Like the minister wife said, her husband, he wasn't a drinker, but I think one day he had a little swig. And when she smelled that on him, she went off when they were in the bed because it did what it triggered.
It triggered her. Well, I definitely encourage any man or woman that's entering into a relationship that has experienced sexual abuse as a child and is still dealing with that and having some issues. I personally did in a couple of my relationships, and it didn't run them away, right away, but I just told them this is something very important. And I'm still, dealing with some things, and I do have some triggers, and I think this is important information for you to know. That's the path that I chose to take, and I encourage anyone to take it because I think that other person has a right to know, because that's a lot of the issues that are going on in a lot of relationships and a lot of marriages when people hold back on information that's important. And then, like you said earlier, the other person is feeling like it's something wrong with them or it's something that they've done. And that person also, if they haven't experienced, sexual trauma, then they also can be educated and understand how to support that person. That's what relationships are all about. Communication and support. And when people start to realize how important that is, there'll be a lot of relationships that will be successful. I see Coach Elaine, you unmuted yourself.
And let Coach Elaine know. Coach Elaine, there's no drinking on my show.
Energy drink. Energy drink. I need it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I have a comment to make. When I was about 5 or 6, and I'm hoping there are young people listening to this because they're like, "Oh, I don't have to listen to my mother. Like, who does she and what does she know?" Well, my parents always said, "Listen to us. Stay on this side of the street. Don't go here. Don't go there." And I crossed the street, and some man tried to grab me, and I remember that from the time I was 5, and we're talking 60 some years later. And I wonder, to your guests who have experience with this on a professional level, meaning that they've done research, the children that talk back, or like a kid in I'm not going to say inner city, but sometimes some kids have some potty mouths and they'll tell an adult off. Are those kids less likely that somebody will try something because the kid is a fighter? Or do these molesters look for a timid kid that's going to just whimper and cry and look down? Or I've been trying to train my grandchildren. I tried with my children, it didn't work. But I try to train my grandchildren to like talk back. If somebody says something to you, say, "Who do you think you are?" And my daughter feels children should be children. They should show adults respect. I'm like, I don't agree with that. If somebody's approaching you wrong, you have to come out with all you got to save your life. So somebody could comment on that. Should kids speak up as if they're an equal if they think somebody's trying to do something to them?
I wouldn't necessarily say that them speaking up will make them an equal, but I will say that predators shy away from vocal children, children who talk a lot, children who have very good relationships with their family. It's a lot of
And
communication.
especially their father.
Hmm.
Especially if they know that you have a father and a father that's really in your life, I think it will be a little bit more challenging for them.
Yeah, that's a deterrent. That's a deterrent. And that's why it's important to educate. So you're educating your grandchildren
Hmm.
on being vocal and being expressive when they feel like they're being mistreated or something is happening to them that's not appropriate. That's
Mm,
what we're supposed to do. I did that with my child. Before she was talking, we were having conversations, and I was, showing her, giving her strategies on how to safeguard herself when I wasn't around because they're in school, they're in preschool. My daughter started dancing, going to dance school when she was like 2.5, and they don't let parents stay. And so I started teaching her how to safeguard herself. And one of the first things I taught her is if someone does something to you, touches you inappropriately, or says something that makes you uncomfortable, I want you to say, "I'm going to tell my mommy and my daddy." And then I would rehearse that with her. Then what are you supposed to say? And she would go, "I'm going to tell my mommy and my daddy," teaching her that she have people that's going to protect her and advocate for her. And
mhm,
when a perpetrator or someone who's in the grooming process recognizes that a child is vocal, because they will test it out. The first thing they do is test boundaries to see how far they can get with children. And it
mhm,
could be saying something inappropriate to see how they're going to respond and react. And
mhm.
so we have to teach our children early to advocate for themselves. And the first
Exactly.
thing is to be vocal and let people know that I have people in my life that love and care about me. And I would always tell my daughter, if it's an adult, I didn't want her going toe to toe with an adult. I'm the adult. And
Mm.
so you let them know that you're going to let me know, and trust and believe mommy's going to follow up with whoever this is, and we're going to have a grown up conversation about it.
Mhm.
So, to
Okay.
your point, groomers and predators look for children who are quiet,
Hmm.
children
That's
who
your point, Elaine.
are, they'll watch them, they don't really interact and be around other children. They look for children who are coming from a dysfunctional home where it may be a single mother, the father's not around, children who feel like they're isolated or they don't belong. This person will befriend them and start doing things and saying things that make them uncomfortable. But it's really complex. This whole thing is complex. But the most important thing is to have those conversations. Teach children how to safeguard themselves.
And Dr. Andre, let me just throw something in, because a lot of parents really don't want to talk anything about sex with children. People often ask me, what age do you start? Don't say to your child, if someone touch you inappropriately, kids don't know nothing about no damn inappropriate. You tell them exactly where their hands need not to go on your body. You need to point that out. Does that make sense? Because parents do that. If they inappropriately touching you, what does a kid know about inappropriate touching? What's wrong with, say, they don't touch your vagina, or they don't touch your penis, they don't touch your breast? You know, they don't get up, they don't need to hold you, because men sometimes would start just getting behind a person and holding them. That's sexual experience for them. So it's time for parents to come out the dark, call it what it is. And Elaine, you're right. When you're mouthy, you talk back. And I'm not saying people should talk back. I guess that's why they never bothered me. They said I was a tomboy, because I would go toe to toe with any of them. Now, I didn't know it was protecting me. I knew my dad would protect me. But they said, oh, she a tomboy. I didn't know what tomboy was. But they would always say that. I guess it meant don't mess with her. And guess what? I'm a tomboy today, done it. Don't you come my way. Don't you mess with me. And don't mess with my kids nor grandkids.
One of the things that I put in the book, and I advocate for all the time, is that we teach children the correct names for their body.
Mm-hmm.
So not TT, wee.
Pocketbook.
Yeah. It's a penis. It's breast. It's butt. It's vagina. Like, those are the things that we need to let our children know, so that when they are being touched or something is being done inappropriately to a body part that should never be touched, that's what we need to do. I'll tell you a little story. When my daughter, well, just growing up, I mean, she was loved. Her grandfather loved her, took very good care of her. Her dad was very involved in her life, so she had strong men around her. And I'm lovable. I like to hug, and and I did the same with her, and that's her personality. And so she would run and jump and hug her poppy and sit in his lap, and I think she was maybe like 3rd grade or 4th grade. I sat down and I had a conversation with her. And I said, I know you love your poppy. I know that you love your dad. But at this point, we're not going to sit in their laps anymore. And I explained to her that it wasn't a bad thing, but I was very real with her. And I said, because men have involuntary erections. And so I don't want you to have to experience that, and for them to have to be in that position where they were triggered and this happens. And so at this point, we're not going to sit in their laps. I said, you can still hug them and, do all of that, but we won't sit in laps. So I showed her and taught her how that she can still give them love and affection, but in a different way. And she understood that. And then I also let them know that I had this conversation so they wouldn't think, what's wrong with her? So I let them know. And I think that's important. And that's a part of communication.
I think that's good. You told them, because then they wouldn't say, come and sit in my lap, because now you've told them and you told the child. So it's clear cut. Is there anyone else that need to make a comment? we're going to give you that opportunity before I come back to my guests. I see we have a few men on. Okay, we've
Type it in
given
the
them some.
chat if you don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, you can always put it in the chat. Because you guys, we're in a world of chaos. We're seeing so much. We're seeing in the courts what played out a lot of people who are molesting other people. Then you find out that they've been molested. That doesn't give them a reason to molest the other people, but it's coming out a lot that they have been molested. They never told anybody. So you need to tell, I don't care if it's a tree, go out in the forest, talk to a tree, tell somebody, let it out. Sit on the bus stop, go tell somebody on the bus stop. You ain't gonna never see them again. They don't know you, they don't know your name, but just get it out, folks. Because it is hindering your relationship, it's hindering the way you deal with your children, it is impacting your relationships on the job. Trust me. Even in the workplace, you heard them talk about trigger. These people don't know what has happened to you. But then there's some things that they can do on the job. Just being friendly or saying certain words that can trigger you and cause you to go off to a point that you could even sabotage your job. Is that right, Dr. Andre?
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. I just put my contact information in the chat, put my email address, I put my personal website, and I also put in there the website to my nonprofit. So if anyone wants to contact me, send me an email if you have a question, something you want to say. Yeah, you're quite welcome, Coach Elaine. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, and thank you for commenting. We appreciate it.
Dr. Andre, I think any family reunion, I have a new take on family reunions. They should be more than about meeting and eating. I'll say that again. Family reunions need to be about more than eating and meeting. One of the things need to be shared is actually your book, Andre, talking about somebody being an ambassador to stop the cycle, to break the curse in families where you're looking at families and you go down the tree and half of them been molested. That's happened in many families.
Yes.
Half of the families can tell the story. It has to stop, you guys. It's enough thing that's impacting black folks' lives than for them to have to live with that type of trauma. So at family reunion, they should be talking about that. They should be talking about generational wealth. There are things that need to be shared, and I hope everybody listen will make sure they become a part of the program
Right.
when you have your next family reunion. Back
Yeah.
to you, Dr. Andre.
Yeah, definitely. I absolutely agree with you on that. And unfortunately, we had a family reunion last year. We're preparing to have another one. We're really excited about that. But I learned from at the family reunion that one of our family members did not come to the reunion because they said, "Why should I go to this reunion? Because they didn't protect me when I was little."
Wow.
And so they did not come. But another family member who knows my work and know what I'm doing, she actually pulled me to the side and gave me that information and asked me to reach out to that person, and I did. So I totally agree that, family reunions should be informational as well. And like you said, talking about this, also talking about generational wealth. What does that mean? How do we keep our families alive and thriving with the assets that we have, and help one another be better stewards of our finances and of our property, and make sure that we have systems put in place so when we're no longer here, our children, grandchildren, and other family members will be taken care of. So I totally agree with you.
let me ask you one other question. Are young girls and boys who've been sexually molested more aggressive when it comes to being involved with sex? Because I had one author, her brothers had molested her for years. And she said nobody did anything about it. And she decided, well, if it's just open free, they can just have my body when they want to and nothing can happen, then I can make money. She started prostituting.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is a part of a process for astronomical number of women and men, because we have men that deal with the fact that and I've talked to men who identify as being homosexual, being gay, and they have experienced being raped or molested as little boys, and they attribute their life as adults because of that. So unfortunately, yes, that does happen. Our males lose their identity on who they are and what they're supposed to be, and they struggle with that. And then our women, feel that their body is not sacred, and they feel like this is what my body is being used for. Like this young lady said, I might as well get paid because, unfortunately, that's, insecurity. That's just a lack of understanding about who they are and what their worth is about. And so, yes, that is one of the scars and one of the, I guess I would say, behaviors that happen to adults when they become adults.
Wow. Dr. Andre, they put in the chat that want to know where to get your books. Do you have some here at our store? If not, you need to get some down here.
I will.
She need to get some down here at Express Yourself Bookstore at 1425 West Manchester Avenue. That's on Manchester, just west of Normandy. The phone number there is 323-750-3592. 750-3592, or go to her website. She put it in the chat. Be at Black Writers on Tour, you guys. Hey, Black Writers on Tour, throwing it down. Dr. Andre is going to be there, and you definitely want to get that book. You have two authors on the line. What, three? Hey, let me start talking now, because I'm going to be there. I'm throwing out my two new books, AI Made Simple for Parents. Because if anybody needs to teach the parents about AI, the parents need to teach the children. Because some of them going to get in deep trouble, putting folks' face on stuff, making certain stuff happen. So you got to teach them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and how to be safe with it. So my books will be there also. But Dr. Andre, I am so happy you guys look at the book. It is so incredible. And I suggest that you invite her to be a speaker at your family reunion, at some of your functions, sororities. We have got to, because more of the children are being reared about women, folk, we spend more time with them. So we need to start talking to them early and don't beat them around the bush by pocketbook, your thing. Ain't no thing, it's a peanut, okay? Don't be calling no thing, it's a peanut. Talk to the kid just the way you're supposed to talk to them. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense, and that's how it should be. Just keep the conversation real, keep the conversations going, not just having a talk one time. It has to be continuous. As children grow, the language that you use, the words that you use, it grows with them. And so we have to make sure that we have multiple conversations. My daughter, I don't know, maybe about 2 or 3 years ago, I asked her again. And she was like, Mom, I told you, if something happened, I would have told you. Like, you talked to me about that, I would have told you. I said, well, I just wanted to check.
Reinforce it, huh?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, before we jump off here, let's give some warning signs, some symptoms that you can look for in the child behavior, more than likely when something like that has happened. They become withdrawn, right?
Wrong.
You should observe any behavior. If your child comes in, mom, from school, hugging and kissing you and talking, all of a sudden that child is going straight to their room, not being seen by you. And as Cassandra mentioned, bedwetting is one of those bedwetting up to 12 years old, still peeing in the bed and all this. Those are some warning signs. Am I right, Doctor?
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. Depression, a nonverbal child becomes withdrawn, or it could be the other way around, and they become aggressive. They start having behavior problems at home and in school. They become a fighter, verbally aggressive, physically
Because
aggressive.
they're angry, they're mad.
Yes. So
Talking back to you when they never did before because they're angry with you because you didn't pay attention. They feel like you ought to know something. I've seen parents who want to leave their child with someone and the child screaming. Don't want to, anytime a child don't want to be with another adult, I'm going to say that again. You don't leave that child. Oh, she just acting up. Anytime your child act fearful, they don't want to be bothered when an adult, I would not leave that child with that person.
we should never force a child. We should never force a child to be with anyone that they don't want to be with. You got to change your plans. You got to change your plans. But we should never force a child to be with someone. If they cry, if they're expressive about that, then that should be a sign. We should never force our children to hug people
If
that.
that's your uncle, girl, go on and hug Uncle Bill. And
Yeah,
Uncle Bill is pressing his penis next to her and everything else. I'm just
yeah.
saying.
We should never force children to hug anyone. And and our children need to be taught that adults need to ask for a hug. So even when I, hug adults, people that I'm not familiar with, I ask them for permission. Is it okay if I give you a hug? These are grown-ups. And you have to ask children the same thing. Their parents are around. So we should never force anyone on our children if they don't want to be bothered. And it's not being disrespectful. They're non-verbally telling you something is not right. But I do also want to let everyone know that my book can also be purchased on Amazon.
Yeah.
My book is on Amazon, and the book is $24.99. It's a parent guide. You can take notes inside. There's reflections at the end, and there's a quiz at the back of the book just to test your knowledge and see if what you learned and read in the book resonated with you.
And Dr. Andre, I think it's a good idea for those on here and to share with your friends because naturally they can't come to the bookstore. They live in other states. People all over the world need to have this book. So I suggest that you get a copy of it, make a picture of it, and send it to your relatives and friends. Send it down to Mississippi, Tennessee, Georgia, Washington, New York, and ask them to get that book and make it a family affair. Make it the type of book that you can sit around with the family and discuss. And by that, you're not doing any personal attack, but you're educating and you're all learning the same thing at the same time. So make sure you share that book, share it on Facebook, email it, TikTok, wherever you can get someone eyes on it. You need to do that.
Yes. This
You
has
want
been
to
great. Been great.
give us a closing remark before we get up out of here?
I just want to thank everyone for joining us today, for everyone who will hear this later on down the line. The most important thing is for us to start the journey of protection before birth, and it should be continual up until our children become young adults, graduating from high school. We should always continue to have open conversations, open dialogue, and we want to mainly have this open conversation with our families. Pull families in. I'm starting a movement that's called the Garter Wings Promise Ambassadors, And that is where I educate one family member in a family. I teach them the strategies and skills that's needed. It's a training, and then they take that information back to their family, and then they educate their families. We all have a ride or die in our family, somebody that we talk to, somebody we share information with, pull that person on board, and then you go back and train your entire family. I promise you that if a perpetrator or an abuser knows
You
that
on watch.
family is talking about it publicly, then you putting them on notice that we are watching, and we want to make sure that we protect every child in our family. So God bless everyone. Thank you so much. And remember, you see something, say something, and talk about it.
And talk about it to your grandchildren because their parent, if they're not doing it, you need, and kids really listen to the grandparent. Do you realize how much power you have as a grandparent? So you need to talk to your grandchildren just in case their parents have not shared. You need to make sure you do it. You got the clock on the wall said that's all. Let's give Dr. Andre the biggest hand, y'all. She threw it down this morning, my co-host. All right. You'll be
Yes.
seeing her basically every week now. She'll be co-hosting and hosting this show. So you guys have a great day as you go on your way, and don't forget, you guys, Black Writers on Tour. You're going to see Dr. Andre. You're going to see Cassandra there with her book, Facing Her Wall. That's a good book. Dr. Andre and her book. And y'all know I'm going to be laying that out, okay? I ain't playing with you. Y'all have a great day.
Have a good day.